This is a review of the 2016 Volvo S60 Cross Country. I hope you'll find this review useful and interesting. This car looks better on film than it does in person. It has the familiar Volvo lines, and that's the best thing we could say about the car's appearance. The worst we could say is that it is awkwardly high off the ground. It does not look like anything else on the road. The chassis took inspiration from a sofa on a cruise ship. Soft, predictable, sure, and uninspiring. I say this knowing full well that some people like soft and comfy, and this does feel like a boat, and it has the chassis setup of a $35,000 Buick. This has to be one of the smallest trunks I've ever seen in my entire life. No room, split 60/40 with a very small ski trap. This vehicle does go for $50,000 plus about $5,000 of options. The rear door design is minimalist but pretty nice looking. In the back, you have plenty of room for people up to 6 feet. Taller than that, the head's gonna rub on the headliner, but the legs are pretty good. The seats are extremely comfortable. There's mobile charging rear heated seats, and the vents are located on the B pillar, which is the first time I see that. Meanwhile, the front door has a nice design, nice chrome trim. It has like a nice shape. I'm not sure what that shape is, but it's kind of elegant. Inside, you have plenty of room. Seats, once again, look very bolstered, but they're very soft bolsters, and you're very well seated. Volvo maintains its reputation very well here. Looking at it again here on video, it's really quite incredible how these bolstered seats are comfortable. The leather quality is average, though, I'd say. It feels like about a car for $50,000. This center console, it's been the same thing forever, yet it's a lot of small buttons which are pretty useless, but it is kind of all turned towards the driver, which has a really nice driver-centered feel. This digital dash is okay. As with all new cars, there's no noise, vibration, harshness, except on the highway it is a little bit noisy. This engine drinks a lot of gas, 11.5 in the city, 8.5 on the highway, which is a lot, doesn't do a lot of power, and is noisy. Hello car lovers. Today we're in the 2016 Volvo S60 Cross Country. That's a mouthful. And I have no clue who this car appeals to, and I've been driving it now for 20 minutes. No clue. I've been filming it, everything. I have no clue. We'll start with what's bad. Ross outlined his bad. It's the size of the trunk is unacceptably small for a vehicle this size. He doesn't like the engine, and he doesn't like the form factor. What else is missing? I agree with everything he said. This engine does feel unrefined, but let's start with what's good. The interior is pretty good. Start with the steering wheel. The steering wheel is incredible. Wonderful quality material. It's a bit big, well padded, though I am approaching what I believe another reviewer called the Pac-Man grip, which I can't get my finger. I think somebody with smaller hands can't get their fingers around it. It's so thick. However, for me, it's fine. It's a bit big though. Not sporty at all. The use of materials inside is okay for this price. Not the best, close to the worst. I'm not too impressed. The seats, although they look really bolstered, maintain. They don't like create pressure points at all. Volvo can rest assured that it will keep its reputation as best seats. Handling is inexistent in this car. This car is set up for a boat, like really a boat. It feels like a boat. It feels softer sprung than a Honda Accord. And I don't know why the Honda Accord comes to mind when I'm driving this car. It feels about that level of refinement in terms of the drive. Touch points are really soft. Steering wheel doesn't react. You can turn it about, I don't know, a quarter of an inch. Oh my God, a quarter of an inch. An inch each side and you will not be turning. The control weights, like the flasher stalks, the buttons are soft. Everything is soft. Everything is soft in this vehicle. Nice design language here on the door. When you're sitting inside, it's the chrome accents are nice. The rimless mirror is a cute touch. I'm sitting relatively comfortably here. This center console, it's the same center console for the last 10 years. However, they've I don't know, even though it looks exactly the same in picture, they've kind of like tossed the whole thing and made it face the driver. It really feels driver-centered now. Too many buttons here. Like, buttons are small, they're not useful, they're not intuitive. The learning curve must be incredibly steep. I mean, you're gonna get into an accident looking at these buttons for sure. The sound system, the optional Harman Kardon sound system, sounds okay. Not the best, but it does feel like the optional high-end sound system in this car. Sunroof is rather small in this day of panoramic roofs, but I'm all worried about that. All worried is an expression we used in a school I used to go to, meaning that I'm not worried at all. Visibility is pretty good, I'd say. I can see pretty much everywhere. The A-pillar is not too thick, surprisingly. Has a nice material. Rear seats are comfy. I sat behind myself. I had plenty of room. If you're over 6 feet, though, your head is going to start brushing against the roof liner. In the front, plenty of space. I'm not rubbing shoulders with Ross, and I would say, not even rubbing elbows, which is pretty good for a car this size. I'm doing right now 105-ish, and I would say that there is just a bit too much wind noise for a car this price. I don't know if it's wind or road noise, but there's noise. There's a lot of noise here. Once again, driving the Accord, I think there's less noise in the Accord. I'm saying the Accord a lot, aren't I? Well, that car cost a lot less. There is an undeniable feeling of luxury here, though. Like, I don't feel I'm in a $35,000 car. That has to be said. And I think the steering wheel has a lot to do with it, and this center console. The quality of the leather is average. It's not bad, doesn't feel like plastic, but it doesn't feel like high-end leather. Nor should it at this price. The engine. Well, let's try to pass somebody. I did from 10 to 13 kilometers an hour there. Not too good. This 5-cylinder turbo engine I've never been a fan of. It drinks gas like a 6, yet it performs like a 4-cylinder turbo. I mean, and it's rough. And you know, when you have an odd number of cylinders, you always have to add a whole bunch of counterweights because, you know, because of the uneven firing of the cylinders, you get like vibration. So I don't know why this engine is still in this car. It's funny because Ross was making the remark. He said, you know, the XC90 was such an incredibly great vehicle. And yet this vehicle, I don't know, feels like it's falling short somehow. Like it doesn't have that many qualities. The trunk is a deal breaker for me. You cannot have a big vehicle like this and have such a narrow trunk. It's actually redonkulous. So, if you're shopping for this type of vehicle and you don't visit Volvo, I don't think you're missing anything. That's the review.